Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is lesson 583. Title of today's lesson is The Difference Between Soul and Spirit. Okay, if somebody wants a screenshot, do it right now. Let's get right to it. This is a request video, and there's definitely some crossover between soul and spirit, especially after death. But they both have a number of meanings, and we need to kind of go over these meanings so you can kind of more clearly see when you're more likely to use one than the other. Okay. All right, now we talk about soul, the part of a person that is capable of thinking and feeling directly related to one's consciousness and individual sense. Okay, that's one way that we use soul. Number two, the spiritual part of a person that many people believe leaves the body and continues to exist after death. Okay, number three, sometimes especially in former times, we often use the word soul just to mean a person, like a person who's alive. And number four here, a particular type of person, you can also say. All right, let's look at spirit. Your attitude to life or mood, okay? The part of a person that many people believe continues after death. All right, so here's where there's kind of some crossover. A dead person who comes back to the world, or one's life force or supernatural existence could also be your spirit. Again, here's where another sense where there could be some crossover. A supernatural being, yes. There are supernatural beings could go both ways. Could be good and bad, like an angel or an evil spirit or a devil could be a supernatural being as well. Okay, and sometimes they could be referred to as a spirit, as in an evil spirit. Or the Spirit referring to the Holy Spirit, which is referring to part of God in the Trinity. So, all right, let's look at the examples, and then maybe we can, connect it better. All right, so here's the first one. I can feel it is the right thing to do deep in my soul. All right, this is like the first one. The part of your body that's thinking and feeling and your consciousness. So the first example would relate to that. Let's look at number two. He had a near-death experience and he claims his soul left his body and he had an out-of-body experience. All right, now remember there are a number of people that have had this before and they talk about that. This case, you're probably more likely to use the word soul and probably not spirit yet. We're going to get to spirit yet. Spirit is probably more if your soul travels somewhere, especially if you go to heaven and your communication with God is more like your spirit. So we're not as likely to say his spirit left his body. You're more likely to say his soul left his body. All right, let's continue. You can kill one's body, but you cannot kill one's soul. Okay, you could say that, meaning that the soul will live after. That's what many people believe in many religions. Okay. Now, if you say you can kill his body, but you cannot kill his spirit, well, that could have a different feeling, too. That could have a different feeling of spirit as far as your attitude or mood, so you got to be careful with that one. All right, let's continue. He claims he sold his soul to the devil. Now, again, I don't know if you can really truly do this, but we've seen this in stories. I've actually seen some celebrities say that they actually did this, too. Now, but you'll never hear somebody say they sold their spirit to the devil. They could only sell their soul to the devil. Because your spirit is the way you communicate with God. That's the one that's in the presence of God. So you don't sell that. You would sell your soul in this sense. All right, let's continue. Many souls were lost in the sinking of the Titanic. All right, this is the part of the word soul that refers to a person. Especially in former times, we would say that, lost souls in the sense of people just dying. Yes, I think in the Titanic movies, several of them, I've heard them use that so many souls were lost. Because I think especially in the early 1900s, they used to use soul often just to mean a person. Okay, let's read the next one. He is a good soul. He is just naturally a kind-hearted person. All right, this is going up here to mean, when you use the word soul, to mean a particular type of person. So you could say somebody is a good soul in that sense. Okay, good. Let's continue. All right. Let's go on. So number 7 here. He is in good spirits. All right, well, again, this is getting to spirits. And this is when we're talking about your attitude or your mood towards life. You could be in good spirits. Okay, good. Number 8, one can feel and communicate with God through one's spirit. All right, so this is kind of where the crossover comes. If you die and your soul leaves your body and it travels somewhere, hopefully, in the religious sense, hopefully you go to heaven. It's through your spirit that you might enter into heaven. That's the one that's supposed to communicate with God, or maybe be in heaven is really your spirit. Once you've reached that point, as it's leaving your body, we were more likely to say your soul. Okay, so basically your spirit is kind of part of your soul, but it's the part of your soul that communicate with God or could be in God's presence. So let's continue. All right, the spirit is one's deeper connection with God. Only one spirit can be in the presence of the Lord, to see God, basically. So we don't say his soul was in front of God. We usually say his spirit was in front of God. So that would be more likely that we would use it that way. All right. Number 10 here. An evil spirit possessed them. All right, now this is getting back to the supernatural being, because sometimes we could use it that way. We do know that some evil spirits, like the devil himself, he was supposed to be an angel at one time, and some angels left and sided with the devil, and they could become like evil spirits in that sense. Okay, good. All right, number 11. The Holy Trinity is the combination of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So this is when you say the Spirit, meaning the Holy Spirit, referring to part of God. So in the Christian sense, remember they always say the Holy Trinity is like 3 in 1. So that's another way that the word Spirit is used. All right, number 12. If a human clone were made, it would be lacking a soul. Well, that's what some people say. I've seen this. I don't know if they've really ever done this. Obviously, on the news, they never claim that they did this. But I've heard some people say that sometimes that they might have actually done this already. But that if they make a clone of a person, it has no soul. I don't know. That's what some people would say. I know I've seen before sometimes that they say like they've probably like, I don't know how they did this experiment. Maybe 2 people, mating or something, where they kind of like were able to x-ray it. And at the moment of conception, supposedly there is a little spark. And I've heard some people say that they think that might be the soul entering your body. And the idea, at least in the religious sense, is that the soul is the gift from God. It's entering the body. So if a clone were made, whether it could copy your consciousness and be kind of like robotic or whatever, that's what they would say. I've heard people that talk about this, that think that maybe human clones are existent, that the clone would not really have a soul. I don't know, but that's what you hear. All right, now I hope that this kind of clarifies a little bit of the difference between the way we use the word soul and the way we use spirit. Anyway, hope it was clear. I hope you got it. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.